Hi and welcome to my tutorial on how to draw a cute puppy. I'm Lisa from Lisa Doodles and let's get going. So to begin with, I'm going to sketch his head and his body, and they are just going to be two round shapes. One of them is going to be slightly wider for his head, and one of them is going to be slightly longer and squashed on the bottom for his body. Just keep gently going over your lines very lightly until the shapes are similar to what I have here. So if you want to do two circles that are the same sort of shape to begin with, you can do, and then you can just sort of chop the bottom off of one for his body, and then, like I'm doing here, make his head wider, because he's going to be sitting down in this picture. He's sort of a chubby little puppy and he needs a chubby head and body. So next I'm adding his legs, and to begin with we're just going to add two blobs on either side of his body. And then for his feet, again we're just going to go back to our circle shape and add one for the right foot and one for the left. So he's sitting with his legs bent outwards because he's sort of flopping down like a puppy does. And now for his front paw, I'm finding the midway point of his head and then just drawing a line very lightly down for his arm. The part that joins to his elbow is going to be level with his knee. I mean, roughly, you don't need it to be perfect. And then for his foot, we're just going to add a very small ball again. I'm using a kneaded eraser to erase any parts that I don't want. So moving on to his second arm, this is going to be constructed of a few sort of squashed round shapes. So if you draw the base as I've done here, and then another circle sort of overlapping that one, and then a more round circle joined on to the end of that, so you've got three round shapes in a row. And for his ears, we just start with a round squashed ball on each side of his head. Now we're going to add his tail. So we're going to keep it simple for now and just add some thin lines going up into a point. You can change the direction of his tail or make it a bit thicker or thinner, depending on what you think looks cute. So now I'm thinking about where I'm going to place his eyes, and I'm drawing a very light line to get an idea of where his eyebrows are going to be. I'm just going to draw two very small flat bubbles for his eyebrows, and then I want his eyes to be nice and big, so I'm drawing a squared off circle for his eye, and it's going to be almost the same size as his ear, if not a little bit bigger. So you can start off drawing a square if you like, and then just round off the corners. Now the tricky bit is to try and get the eyes a similar size and shape. But don't give up, you just do what you can for now, and the more drawing you do, the easier it will get. If you keep your lines soft and light, You can always erase or come back to an area that you're not sure of at any time. As you can see here, one of my eyes is slightly smaller than the other, but I'm not going to worry too much about that for now. Now for the inner part of his eye, I am going to have his eyes sort of looking in and down, because I want him to look kind of cute and like a sad little puppy. I'm just darkening a few lines here to try and improve the shape. I find that working over and over my lines helps me to maybe expand a shape without having to do a completely new line. And once I come to finalising the image later on, all of the rough lines that I have put in can be rubbed away, so I'm not going to worry too much about those at the moment. So I'm thinking about where to put his nose now, and I thought he looked the cutest with his nose directly between the two eyes. I'm just going to do a rounded upside down triangle. You could put a circle for his nose if you think that looks cuter, but I'm happy with the little triangle. Then for his mouth, you just simply draw two little lines curling up at the sides. We don't want him to look too sad. And then a sweet little tongue. I'm showing you a more close-up of his mouth. So it's just two sort of J shapes, a J and then a backwards J. And then the tongue is a U shape with a line down the middle. Now to shape his ears, I'm just going to very lightly go over part of the circle that I drew. But I'm going to indent it before it gets to the top. And this is to make his ears look kind of floppy and give them some shape. So you can see the bottom part of the ear is sticking out and the top bit is going in. And then I'm just going to curve it round and join it to his head. If you don't feel confident doing this kind of shape for his ear, you can always just have a round ear and it still looks pretty cute. So again, I'm going round the base of the circle and then I'm going to make an indent and then curl round to the top of his head. So I'm just checking very roughly that the two ears are even at the top and that one isn't too much higher than the other. And now we're just going to work on filling in the top of his head. I'm going to give him some extremely cute and silly sprouty hair. But if you want your pup to have a smooth head, you can do. I just think it looks so cute. Just do a few sprigs or spikes and see how it looks. So I'm starting to fill in the bottom of his head now. Just darkening my lines a little bit. I'm colouring in his cheeks here, just to see if he looks cuter, but I'm not sure that I will keep them. Trying to decide which bit to finalise next is the tricky bit, because when you're doing a drawing you don't want to ruin what you've already done, so I tend to do small gentle lines and then sort of work it out as I go. I'm going to do a tiny little puppy roll near his leg. So his body is coming out a bit from his neck. It's getting wider as it goes down. And then just before his leg, he's got a little sort of bump where his puppy fat might be, and then that just curls round into his knee. I'm going to stop the line before it gets to his foot, because the round circle for his foot is going to be in the foreground, and therefore it's going to be in front of his leg. So I'm following the round circle shape, but I'm adding in some toes, and it's pretty simple shape really. Just add 3 bumps on one side of the circle, and then I'm adding a couple of lines to show where the inside of his leg is. And for the bottom of his feet, you can add some little toe pads. I'm not sure what they call them, but I'm calling them toe pads. You know, like puppy feet pads. So I quite like the shape of his leg. So now I'm going to work on his other knee. Again, just drawing out round the shape that I have, and then putting his foot detail in and making sure it goes in front of that part of his leg. Adding his toes and some more feet pads or toe pads, whatever you prefer to call them. I did have a bit of trouble making his toes look even from one foot to the other. So you'll see that I rub them out and redo them a couple of times. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you can see that it is the bottom of his foot, that will be fine. Now this foot was actually quite a bit smaller than the other one, so I decided to rub it out and enlarge it. He's so cute. Add in his little toes. There we go. Okay, so just filling in a couple of lines to show the inside of his leg and how it sort of joins to his knee. Now I'm going to work on his front paw and just darken my lines down a little bit. And draw his foot coming outwards, and then of course some little puppy toes onto the floor. So I'm just going over some lines as I go to make him look more three-dimensional. Like I looked again at his leg, and compared to the other leg, it seemed like it was very high. So I decided to lower his knee, and before I rubbed out the existing lines, I put the new lines in so that I wouldn't be totally lost with where I wanted his knee to go. I think that looks better. So he's definitely starting to take shape now, and he looks so cute. I just love him. Now I'm going to start tackling his tail, and I'm adding a few sort of spikes to his tail to mirror the spikes on the top of his head. You could have a bushier tail on your pup, or maybe a smaller, smoother tail. Try it out. You could draw 2 or 3 pups and give them all different hair and different ears. Now this is the hardest leg to draw, because he has his paw raised up and his elbow is bent. So if you just take the first small circle and add some toes, but don't join the circle all the way round, because his arm is bending down and you don't want to disconnect his paw from the arm. So once you've sort of worked your way across the lines, the leg just sort of appears, and it really looks so cute because he's got his paw up and his little toes. I've bent them slightly forward so it gives it a little bit more cuteness. Just rubbing out some random lines and stuff that we don't need anymore. Cleaning up the drawing a little bit. So from just a few circles to begin with, we now have built up something that really does look like a character. Just continue cleaning up your lines. If you don't mind the sketch marks, you can just leave them in. But because I know I'm going to outline my pup in black pen, I'm getting rid of some of the lines I don't need now to help avoid smudging it after. You can use any type of eraser, by the way. I just use the kneaded eraser because it moulds into any shape or size that you need, and it's just it doesn't leave any fragments of rubber on your page, so you don't have to worry about making a mess. But it doesn't really matter, you can use any rubber as long as it doesn't smudge. The pencil I'm using is a 2B, just a normal graphite pencil in 2B. So now I've rubbed out a lot of the rough working lines. He's really starting to take shape. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little doggy bone. You don't have to add this to your pup, but I thought it would be cute. So I'm just drawing 2 circles at the end of the bone, and then I'm going to make a heart shape on the end. And another heart shape on the other end. I'm just about finished the puppy now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be outlining my pup in a black Micron pen. Micron 05 I'm going to be using, and I think I'm going to speed up this part of the video for you so that you can just quickly see how I outline, and then I will show you the end result. I just darkened the top of his eyes a little bit to give him a bit of a lash line and make his eyes a bit more 3D. So there he is, the finished sketch of the puppy. I'd love to see what your puppy has turned out like. So please post your photos to Instagram or Facebook and tag me in them. So this is the pen I was talking about, and I'm writing down here the make of the pen, which is Micron, and it's 05. So it's quite a thick black pen, but it's completely waterproof and it doesn't really smudge if you add colour on top. So I'll see you when I've finished outlining. Okay, so I have almost finished outlining the pup, and he's looking really cute. So I hope you've managed to follow along the steps and create a puppy of your own. If there's something else you would like me to do a tutorial about, then please leave a comment below and let me know what you would like to see. Maybe this tutorial is too long or there wasn't enough detail. I'd love to hear your feedback. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create my puppy illustration. And there he is. Just colour his little nose in. You can go on to add colour to your pup, but for now this is where we will end the video. I'm just rubbing out my pencil lines. So I want to thank you for watching this video, and here is the finished illustration. Let me know what you would like to see next. Maybe a cat or another animal, or maybe even people. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and this will let me know that you want to see more videos. Bye!